Hello and welcome to another out-of-spec testing video. Well, we all know that the Volkswagen ID Buzz is a little bit under batteried. However, I think it charges well enough to do pretty decently in this upcoming test. We are running this in our 10% challenge. Essentially, it's a road trip simulation to say, let's ignore the full charge range of the electric car we're testing. Let's talk about how much range you can add in a 15-minute charging session. So if you're hopping charger to charger to charger on a long road trip, well, we can see how far we can go in between chargers. And to me, it's the single most important metric of any electric car. And it tells a story beyond the 0 to 100% charge time and the 100% to 0% range test. So that's what we're doing right now with the Volkswagen ID Buzz all-wheel drive. We are running it in our 10% challenge. Well, it was raining today, so you can see there's a little water on the ground, but the highway is actually dried out, so we're looking pretty good. Now, typically we run our 10% challenges out of the new Iona Garner site, and Iona's been a great partner of Out of Spec for a long time, and I love to use their sites. However, we're right down the street from the Out of Spec track. I had the ID Buzz at the opportune state of charge, and these version 4 supercharger dispensers will be able to give us all the charging performance the Volkswagen ID Buzz needs, because Volkswagen just got access to the Tesla supercharger network. So we are going to run the 10% challenge out of here, the supercharger in Halifax, North Carolina. I'll walk you through the testing procedures. I'll then tell you a little bit about the ID Buzz, and I'm really curious to see how this does. So let's start with testing procedures really quickly. If you peek in here, the ID Buzz is sitting at 11% state of charge on the display right there, and it's fully preconditioned. I've got my OBD reader in there. The battery pack is just above 30 degrees Celsius, and it says in the menus inside the car that it has reached the optimal temperature for quick charging performance. It is optimized. Take a drink. That is the Out of Spec drinking game if you haven't watched. The point of this test is to, of course, see how far we can go after a 15-minute charging session. So as soon as we're done filming this intro, I'm going to kick the climate control on at full rip, pull it from 11 as soon as it dips down to 10% state of charge. Then we're going to plug it in and charge for exactly 15 minutes of charging power. We'll look at the charging performance and we'll see how it does. I've got all the nerd data pulled up in this thing. We'll then jump out onto the highway and set our cruise control at 80 miles per hour GPS. This is really simulating a road trip from charger to charger out in the middle of the country where you can get some speed on. And thankfully, that's where we live. We can do it here in the middle of the night, no problem. And again, the conditions are good, but it's a little chilly outside. That's actually okay though, because when it's cold out, typically you have less thermal derate on the battery pack. Now, in the case of the ID Buzz, thermal stuff, because this all matters, the Germans do a really good job with cooling. It should actually handle itself really well, even in hot temperatures. And the US spec ID Buzzes don't come with a heat pump. You have to get a Canadian spec ID Buzz in order to get a heat pump. Of course, we only get the big battery and the big vehicle. And yeah, so I guess I'll tell you a little bit about the ID Buzz. No heat pump in this one, just a resistive heater. And it's just the way it goes, and it's 40 degrees out Fahrenheit, very cold out here today, but it's winter time. So this is a, I want to say 91 kilowatt hour gross, 86 kilowatt hour usable ID Buzz. It is essentially the normal ID4 battery pack with 1 or 2, I can't remember, extra modules in there. So the voltage should be up a little bit. We'll take a look at the voltage when we plug in. It's the dual motor car, so we have a permanent magnet motor in the rear and an induction motor, I believe from Magna up front. That's the secondary axle. Pretty much through all the time today, that front motor is going to be off and not being worked at all. And that front motor really doesn't kill your range much at all. It's only like 3 or 4 miles in the EPA cycle. So it's almost worth just getting the all-wheel drive because you get a ton of punch off the line. And of course, all-wheel drive in slippery conditions is nice to get you moving. So I'm a big fan of this particular specification. It is a first edition, which means it's a little bit older, and we have the silver wheel caps instead of the black wheel caps. Much prefer these. but this is about as efficient as you can get one of these vehicles. So without much further ado, let's let it drain to 10%, plug it in, look at the charging performance, give it 15 minutes of charging, and jump right out on the road up to 80 miles an hour. Full disclosure, I'm running this with Scott in the passenger seat. Shouldn't affect the results at all. Typically, we don't do it with 2 people in the car, but we'll make sure climate control is not running on her side so it doesn't impact the results of the ID Buzz test. We are at 11% state of charge, and the guessometer is down to 17 miles of range, and that is just because we have kicked on the heat to full blast. But you can see our battery pack temperatures are perfect, 27 to 30 degrees Celsius. And if I look over in here, I can go to our charging menu, optimization, and you can see we have reached the current quick charge potential. We might be just a tad on the cold side because it was showing like 191 kilowatts before, but as soon as we plug in, we'll be near as makes no difference in the optimal range. So I can't wait to see how this thing charges. We're running 8 kilowatts of heating right now, so it should dip down to 10% no time whatsoever. That'll be really great to see. I'll get our car plugged into the supercharger as soon as that happens and then charge it for 15 minutes. Now, the charging performance for the ID Buzz, 10% state of charge. Before we plug in, let me just shut climate control off. Hold on. I've got to go to Klima, this one, and we can go climate off. I'll leave the heated seat and steering wheel on. It won't affect the test too much. I just want to make one point. The ID Buzz actually top charges really well, so stay tuned for a full charging test that'll come on this channel. And because of that, the 10% challenge in this particular case isn't totally as representative as a normal test, because normally in a car you'd charge for 15 minutes and head to the next one because the charging curve would really come down. With the Buzz, I almost recommend charging to 80 or 90% at charging stations. Do the kind of charge it deep and run it long approach with this car. Kind of fits the relaxed vibe character of the ID Buzz anyway. But this is a surprisingly good top charging vehicle. With any of these MEB cars, they charge from the bottom really well. They kind of die in the middle, and then they hold great power all the way up top. So it's an odd use case charging wise, but they actually do chop charge really well, and that's something we probably won't see today in the 10% challenge. With all that said, we're going to get to this session starting. I'm going to screen record the nerd data for everyone. So let's get it charging immediately. What I'll do is I'll plug it in, and then I'll come over and turn climate control on, because we do run these tests 10% challenge with climate on to simulate sitting in the car for a 15-minute charging session, and it stresses the thermal systems even more, especially in the summertime. Let's go see how it goes. We are at 11C. I'm going to hit start charging on this one. Again, this is a station that requires you to bring your own adapter. So 11C, I've got hold on, I've got to get our stopwatch ready so we don't miss anything. We start the stopwatch as soon as the contactors click and it delivers power. So let's get it plugged in here. Boom. And oh no, I lost the screen on this. As soon as this goes green, I've got to hit 15 minutes because the Tesla app log's a little bit weird. I hear some things. Boom. Okay, 15 minutes charging. We've got to turn climate control on in the car immediately. Okay, so I can force the car on with the start button down here, and there we are, and we are charging, and we are already up to 63 kilowatts, and I can actually look at the nerd menu here. We have a charging limit of 500 amps. We're ramping 100 kilowatts going in. Oh wait, why is our climate not on? Hold on. Climate on. At 72 on auto, seems pretty reasonable. The right side climate is on right now, but we're just gonna let that go.
When we start driving, yeah?
I don't know if it will let you if it detects the weight in the seat.
Oh.
So
maybe I can sit in the back.
Yeah, I think that might work, and then I can force the rear air vents off.
Yes.
That way we run driver only.
Yes.
HVAC. Let's take a look at our charging. 193 kilowatts. We have 500 amps almost going into the battery, which is pretty great. Our pack voltage is pretty high at 16%. We're at 390 volts, and this thing does charge really nicely. So it's absolutely ripping in as much juice as it can take for a 400 volt system architecture. Good to see the supercharger doing all of that. Can't wait to see what we get up to, but we're going to let it charge for 15 minutes. And man, let's just look at the battery pack temperatures again. 28 degrees on the cold side, 32 degrees on the hottest point. We've got 500 amps. It's taken everything that it can. Life is good. We are now passing 22% and still ripping almost 200 kilowatts. This thing is sending the juice. I have seen a peak of like 201 on this car. There's 198. So we are right up there getting just about everything you possibly can on this. 199 kilowatts. Love to see it. You can see here we have 497 amps going into the battery pack and just sitting at basically 200 kilowatt input right into the battery. That's freaking awesome. Here we are coming up to almost 30% state of charge, still holding strong power. All the MEBs do a little bit of this pulse charging like that, where they'll like go and cycle in between 10 kilowatts or so, but still basically holding full power here to 30% state of charge. This is a great monster charging session for the Buzz. And our pack voltage is up to over 400 volts now. Things are looking good. Battery temperature is looking nice as well. And here at 40% state of charge, it seems to have just come off peak charging rates just a little bit. I mean, that is totally acceptable charging. And considering how well this thing top charges, it actually can make up for some of the bad range and efficiency for having pretty okay charging. We're currently 9 minutes into our session, so we still have quite a bit more energy that we can dispense into this thing, so I'm looking forward to seeing the final stats, but for now, we're kind of tapered off of peak charging. We are just about to hit 50% state of charge, and we're doing about 150 kilowatts right there, and by about, I mean exactly. Let's see how long it's taken so far. 12 minutes to reach 50%. And Scott's going to work on pulling up the Tesla app so we can see how many kilowatt hours have been delivered. You can see we've just tapered there again, but cell temps have hit 50 degrees Celsius on the hot side. Inlet temperatures are definitely down there, but I hear no fans running, nothing crazy like that. So this still seems like a pretty good test. We've delivered 37 kilowatt hours, which isn't bad so far. And yeah, let's continue and see how well the rest of the session goes. But so far, so good. 41. Scott, we got about 20 seconds left until we have to hit stop charging. You're going to hit stop charging on the screen right there. As soon as we hit 15 minutes, we've dispensed 43 kilowatt hours, and we've got just a few seconds left to go. 5 seconds. 43.16 kilowatt hours dispensed. Stop charging and the climate's off. The battery temperature never got above 50.5 degrees Celsius. Yeah, nice. So Scott's going to jump in the rear to not keep the passenger climate on. I would then can force the rear climate off. But for now, the car's just sitting idle. No cooling fans ever kicked on, nothing like that. It was all pretty quiet in there, so that worked out well. All right, guys. Well, the charging session went pretty well. It's cold out, 42 degrees. And yeah, we are up to 50 degrees Celsius now in the warmest. Now, I don't know if the charging session was limited because of battery temperature or because of, let me make sure, yeah, screen recording saved, perfect, or because of anything else, but that's how it goes. So climate control is on, eco on that side. We run anywhere between 68 to 72, and what I'm going to do is reset our trip computer. So if I come to, let's think about this, home screen, I have it set as a hot place. We'll zero out our since start driving data. Boom, into drive. Yeah, that's right. We'll shut rear climate off. Let me go eco mode, climate, rear is off. So we have everything set to the most efficient settings. Let's go run the 10% challenge. Now, I believe 81 miles per hour indicated is 80. And I will double check that because we have to always run a GPS rated speed. But fantastic charging performance. It seemed to have a really nice fat curve and everything looked pretty good as far as I could tell right through there. So let's squeeze on out and head up on the highway, or I should say head down. We're going to take the southern road, get it up to 80 miles an hour as quickly as we can, and then when we get about halfway, we'll turn around, head back this way, precondition the battery if it needs it, and see how it goes. Let's freaking do it. 80 miles per hour indicated is 80 miles per hour GPS. We'll turn around when we reach about 37% or so. That'll be halfway, or 35%, and that should work out pretty well. You guys can see the roadway is mostly dry over here on this side, so that's where we are sticking to it, because again, even just that little moisture content can create a tiny bit of resistance, and we're trying to get the most repeatable results. Really impressed with the charging overall. Love driving the Buzz. This thing is just such a cool driving experience with that windshield. We've done so many videos on the Buzzes on this channel, and every time I drive one, it's just so cool. I kind of forget they exist when I don't think about them for a while. Then I get back in a Buzz and I'm like, oh man, this is like one of the coolest vehicles on sale. And it really, I mean, I don't really care how well it does in this test or not. It's just such a cool vehicle that you buy because of an emotional decision, not because it makes any rational sense whatsoever. Well guys, we've got an exit coming up in 1 mile from here, and we've just about used half of our replenished range that we've added. So yeah, if anything, we might go past the charger in the other direction a little bit. Couple nice things about this: no wind today, or very, very little. And also, if we go a little bit past the exit, then we're closer back to the track, which would be great, because then I can film some more stuff with this, like a run to zero and et cetera, for time. Now, of course, we do want to end as close to the charger as possible, so we have used basically half of what we've added, so I'm guessing we'll run out just as we pass the Halifax supercharger where we started. But man, it's been an awesome run. Thankfully, there's no traffic. The roads have been dry, and the Buzz is proving to be a great road trip companion. The travel assist feature is wonderful as well. So I'm going to use regen as we coast our way down to this end of the exit here. We'll then go across the highway, back on the other way, get it up to 80 miles an hour as quickly as possible, and yeah, finish up the test. Couldn't ask for really better conditions than this, other than maybe a little bit more warmth. It's 41 degrees out, but I mean, honestly, for 10% challenges with climate control running so lightly, it really doesn't affect anything too much. So I think we're good. We're just rolling through, nothing to worry about here. All good. And we are merging back onto the highway with gentle accelerations to reduce heat loss as much as possible. The other thing I'm going to check now that we're heading back in the other direction is our quick charge optimization level, and you can see it says optimal quick charge potential reached. These MEB cars have a really wide temperature range to where they accept max power. So I'm going to keep it on this screen and hit preconditioning at any moment that it allows me to. Typically, we would put the charging station in the navigation system. However, this car still doesn't know about Tesla superchargers, even though it's had the most recent update done at a Volkswagen dealer. So Volkswagen has access. You still have to locate them with the Tesla app at the time of this recording. I'm sure it'll natively be baked in no time. I say that in Volkswagen time. But for now, we'll keep it on this. It wouldn't precondition to the charger anyway, so I'll at least keep an eye to see if it asks for it. But my guess is no. I think these batteries, once they're warm, they retain temperature pretty well. And yeah, they don't really love to precondition all that much. But all seems good. Cruising along 80 miles an hour in the other direction now. So see you back when we dip from 11 down to 10%. We are cruising at 11%. We just passed the charger where we started. We did not need to precondition at all. And just so everyone has a good reference point on this test, I usually say anything, you know, below 75 miles, probably not a great road tripper. 75 to 100 miles in this test is like good. That's a solid, livable road tripper. That's where like e-trons live, Rivians, some other stuff like that, you know, 400 volt but big car live in that region. Then you have like 100 to 150 miles, and really 100 to 125 miles is, we just hit it, 71 miles. So that's the result right there. Boom, 10%, 71 miles traveled. But 100 to 120 miles, that's great. And then anything above 120 miles, man, mega road tripper. This doing 71 miles, let's call it 71.5 because we're already up to 72. Really not a bad result. That puts it right in the neighborhood of Rivian's, right in the neighborhood of e-tron, and we averaged 1.8 miles per kilowatt hour. Nears makes no difference, 1 hour of driving. So 15 minutes charge equals 1 hour of driving at 80 miles an hour. Now with the Buzz, because it's so inefficient, it's got this massive frontal area, it might actually start to make sense, one of the few cars, to actually slow down and drive at 70 miles an hour or 75 and charge a bit deeper. It fits with the character of the car anyway, like I mentioned earlier on in the video, but this is a car that loves to cruise, and if you're not pushing it hardcore, then it still will reward you with pretty good top charging. So I would actually say that's a good result here for the ID Buzz, 71.5 miles. I really expected to see, honestly, even worse than that. You can see our battery temperatures here, if I can pull them up. We're down to around 30 degrees Celsius, so we definitely lost quite a bit of thermal energy in the battery, but it wasn't enough to require any sort of preconditioning, even in 42 degree temperatures. So I think that's a surprisingly okay result here for the ID Buzz. So shout out to Volkswagen, and appreciate you guys watching this 10% challenge. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We've got more videos with the ID Buzz coming, but that's how it does charger hopping. It's certainly not going to break any records. It certainly should have a bigger battery and faster charging for the price. But I think we all talk about it as if it's some vehicle that just can't go on road trips, and it's matching Rivian once you're in that, sort of charger hopping routine. So not as bad as I think a lot of us were expecting. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Yes, again, this thing's almost 70 grand. It should charge twice as fast and go twice as far. It doesn't. We get it. That's it. That's the video. Another out of spec testing video for you guys wrapped up, and we'll see you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.